real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. What's happening, Joey?
Nothing much. Actually, a lot much.
Yeah? Tell me.
Yeah. No, it's too long.
Okay.
It's just hot.
Well, we already know that. That didn't take very long.
Told you.
It is definitely hot. Definitely hot. Hey, we have an awesome guest with us here in studio today. That's Thomesa Lydon, Lydon Senior Pathways with RE/MAX Excalibur. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I am hot too.
It is hot.
It is. Yeah, just lately, it's been like super scalding.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck? I mean, I just got back from Missouri not too long, about a week ago, and I came back and it was like 117 the day that we got back.
What's the weather over there?
Today, let's see, yesterday I think it was high was around 80. I think today it's like 76.
Wow.
Now that's low because normally this time of year it's in the 80, 85, closer to 90.
Yeah, I was back in Oklahoma City for my grandson's graduation in the end of May, and it was in the 60s, and it was cold to me because my blood is thinned out here.
I love the 60s. That's awesome. Well, why don't you start by letting the agents that are listening and watching know how long you've been in the business and kind of what got you started in real estate.
Okay. I've been an agent about 19 years as a real estate agent. I've changed my focus a little bit about 12 years ago to focus more on the senior demographics. And what propelled me to real estate was I'm an Air Force brat. I've always moved all my life. My folks hardly ever lived on base housing. They always wanted to buy homes. So I was always intrigued with real estate at that time, years and years and years ago. But before coming out here, I lived in Oklahoma. I had a design business. And I was convinced to come out to Arizona with a husband that wanted to play golf and enjoy the heat, and I should close my business and just come enjoy the rest of my life. So I did, but I had no idea he was going to dump me in the desert at age 50.
Oh,
and so that's the first book I think I talked about writing was Dumped in the Desert at 50. The sequel to that is Couldn't Have Been Dumped in a Better Place. But when he left, I'm like, okay, I don't know anybody and I don't know what to do here. I closed my business. So I always heard people got a driver's license and a real estate license in Arizona, so that's what I did and started my business on the west side.
Yeah.
And my business model was basically sell a home, design and decorate the home, and take a trip. And it worked well for a lot of years till the crash, and then it's reinventing yourself to like do what the normal thing for marketing is to build a business. And,
right.
Yeah. But there is that industry industry list of the top rated industries, and I thought, well, I'll check that out too and see maybe there's an industry I hadn't thought about getting into. And on the bottom rung was car salesman, realtor, and attorneys, and I went, I'm gonna raise the bar for realtors, and so it just kind of confirmed that I needed to get my real estate license.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, and here you are.
And here I am, almost 19 years later, and I've been through all the anomalies, the crash, the rebuild, and whatever we're going through now.
Yeah.
But it's fun, exciting.
I think the hottest market we've ever
What do we call something like this? I mean, there's a crash, and then there's the craziness.
Yeah, it's insane. It is totally insane. And this too shall pass, but good or bad.
Euphoria right now.
Yeah, that's probably it. And there is a fog we're in. But yeah, last Thursday, I landed one of my clients. It's our 23rd offer to submit, and she finally got it. So that was exciting. But it's a weird market right now. But
Irrational Exuberance.
That's a good one. I like that.
That's it's a good book too.
Too long to say.
Can you spell it?
No. If I can't spell it, I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it because then I'll have to type it.
It's been out there long enough. I think that the phone corrects it for you now. So.
That's true.
No, but it is a good book written by Robert Shiller from the Case-Shiller House Price Index.
Oh, I did not know that. I haven't heard of that book, so I'll have to check it out.
Well, it's an economics book. Talks about stock market and the real estate market.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So 19 years now, and you've shifted. Oh, I wanted to ask you one thing first. You said your original model was sell a house, decorate, design the home, and then take a trip. So
That was fun.
What kind of trips? Like what?
Oh, I'd go to Europe. I'd go to Italy. I'd go, I went to Panama. I went everywhere just because I thought, well, what the heck? I'm in the prime of my life. I'm over 50, and I'm just going to start exploring and enjoying. So that was kind of my business model. It worked great for a lot of years. And then when the crash came, nobody was buying, nobody was designing. So there were no trips.
Yeah. So the shift over to more of a senior focus now, right? Mm-hmm. You said that's been about 12 years ago.
Right.
And I guess what made you think that, okay, this is the direction I want to go now?
It was the crisis in my own family. And that's something we don't think about. I'm a baby boomer, and that my parents are in that greatest generation where they'll do everything themselves, they'll tend to everything they need, and they never let the kids step up and help. And until there's a crisis, and then the kids are just inept to kind of know where to go, what to do. There are no documents, there's no plan.
Right.
And so I got that emergency call one day, hanging around the pool, drinking margaritas, having a good time. I get that emergency call from my sister, and she's like, you got to get to Mom and Dad right now. And it's like, they live in San Antonio, I'm here. So she lived in Dallas. You could get there quicker, but there were tornadoes all around and different circumstances. So I jumped a flight, went down there, packed for 2 days, thinking I could put out the fire and come home in a couple of days. And I was there for 3 months, helping the estate and planning and getting, what we should have done years prior in get it rolling and to make the best of the rest for my parents. And I realized when I came back to Arizona, we have a huge demographic of people that live out here that are not near family members, and their families and kids are, scattered all around the countryside. So I started researching what I could do to help in the senior move area. And there is such an organization called Senior Move Management. It's National Association of Senior Move Managers. So I joined that, got certified for that, and basically integrated that into the real estate business. So from consultation to close of escrow, I help seniors and their families do everything in between: organize, sort, pack, discard, estate sale, floor plan, find a new living space, whether it's a condo, smaller home, assisted living, independent living, or memory care.
Yeah.
And then process everything through the real estate and sell their home.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
It was a
big
long process,
it's a
wasn't it?
big process, and it's a very needed one. It's something that if more families knew about it, because every time I've said, and in 12 years, every time I say what I do, people go, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Well, we have a designation in National Association of Realtors that's Senior Real Estate Specialist. And sometimes that's a little misleading because it seems like you're the senior person in the real estate, industry. But it's actually working with seniors, and there's a lot more to all the details of having that designation, because it's really getting in the mindset and getting into the compassion and heartfelt needs of the senior that you're moving and or their families. That I become the liaison between the adult children that can't get their message across to their parents because you're still the child and you're not going to tell me what to do. But I can tell that parent what they need to do, and they'll listen to me. So it helps smooth the next living chapter of life, if you will.
Yeah. No, sounds like it's a great service.
It is a great service.
That you're adding to your real estate business.
Right.
So how do you get that message out? How do people know that this is what you specialize in?
Well, basically, I started meeting with financial advisors and elder law attorneys. I joined a lot of senior industry organizations in the Valley. North Valley Coalition of Aging is a huge organization that has East Valley and West Valley. There's a lot of industry people that you just meet, get to know, and collaborate with to help that senior. So there's so many needs for the senior. The senior, that demographic, the greatest generation age bracket of seniors, they're just kind of skeptical of allowing someone into their space and guiding them in ways that are really helpful if they would just kind of lighten up and let someone help. And once they do, they realize, oh my gosh, this could have been so much easier years ago. I should have done it years ago. And they're happier as a result of it. And their families are happy. But it's just getting involved with any industry that deals with seniors or helps seniors. My biggest focus was financial advisors and elder law attorneys, but there are hearing aid people, there are walkers, there are any kind of industry. Go make yourself known and become an advocate for their people and how you can help them. So I started doing that individually with financial advisors, and then I started doing a series that I brought in me as the realtor. I brought in a financial advisor. I brought in an elder law attorney, a reverse mortgage individual expert, a care manager, and an age-in-place designer. And so we went around the valley doing a series in certain locations so we could invite people to learn about how it really does take a team. And together everyone, does better. And so that was the fun of it, is letting people decide for themselves that they need this instead of the parents with the adult kids feeling like their kids are pushing them out to pasture and trying to take over. So it's just educating.
Yeah.
So educating locally was one thing. And then I was invited to speak at some national level platforms, and I just took advantage of saying yes. You just always show up. That's one of the key things for realtors or anybody, is just show up. But I was invited, my first invitation was to speak at NASDAQ at Times Square. And I got to speak about planning for the next chapter of life for our seniors. And how sometimes it's just that large high maintenance home, you need to get into a smaller, more manageable space. And what does it take to do that? But it all starts with a plan. And P is for prepare in advance. You've got to get your facts, your figures, and your documents, which means power of attorney and any trust or, that type of thing in advance. L is for let everyone know what you want. If you don't tell your family how you see yourself living in the next 10, 20, or 30 years, they're not going to know. So they're going to put their own plan in effect, but they can facilitate yours if you just let them know. And then A is for acknowledging your safety concerns. There are all kinds of safety concerns within a home that seniors have neglected, don't realize until they fall. Falling is the number one accident for seniors. And about 8 million seniors a year die from a fall. So that's something to, go assess your environment. And then N is just never give up that youthful heart and mind, because it's all mindset, and you can start getting old, feeling old, acting old, but it's all in your head or your heart. So that's kind of what I went around speaking, and I was invited after that to speak at Harvard Club of Boston, at West Point, at Mercedes and Porsche and a few other places. So I just felt like the Susie Orman of the senior industry.
There you go.
And the more I spoke, the more I learned, because I would want to bring more to the table. But it's all about educating our families and what the next chapter of life is for our seniors.
Well, those are some big places that you've spoken. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. And then 2020, well, everything got shut down. But I did, August of 2020, we had a Dr. Oz event that I spoke on stage at CNN with Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew and Joycelyn Elders, she was what is that medical person in our legal, oh gosh, I forget her title. But she was the first woman that was in charge of the, oh gosh, I can't even think of what that. Surgeon General. Oh my gosh, I just slipped my mind, because I don't do surgery, because I don't do needles or blood. So surgery just isn't in my vocabulary.
Joey got bonus points.
She was the first, yes, thank you, Joy. She was the first female Surgeon General in the country, and she was there. So it was a great event. We all had to be in our masks, of course, but that was my last national speaking event, and they'll start coming around again, because we're open again.
So do you have these, have you been able to collect those video segments?
I have those, yes. They're on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and I've been on probably about 22 TV stations across the country talking about the senior industry and basically how to teach our families, and especially our seniors and their adult children, how to plan for that chapter in life. So I did write the book, Smart Living for Seniors.
You had a book. Right?
I did write that book, Smart Living for Seniors, How to Make the Best of the Rest. And it's just a very elementary version of from start, to stop. What do you do? How do you do it? How do you make your next section of life or chapter of life in the way you see yourself living, instead of being, when you have a crisis, you kind of get what you get when someone has to kind of pull the pieces together. But if you put it all out and plan and talk with your family and make adjustments, and even modifications for physical illnesses and type of things like that, you can live a great life. And my motto in life is, if it's not fun, I'm done. So I'm not ready to be done. And I'm just going to make it fun. So I call myself a recycled teenager. I am 67 years old, and but right here I'm still 18, and I'm good with that.
No, that's awesome. Name of the book again was?
Smart Living for Seniors, How to Make the Best of the Rest.
All right. By Thomesa Lydon. So how do they get the book?
It's on Amazon.
So they can go straight to Amazon. There you go.
Do you focus on a certain part of the valley, or is it all over, or just where there's more senior
I
living?
go wherever I'm referred.
Okay.
And if it's in an area, as a realtor, you don't want to be working in an area that you're not familiar with, or we don't want all that liability. But if I need to bring on an expert from that area, I will. But I will definitely collaborate with them and work with them in getting all that miscellaneous in the middle between consultation and close of escrow.
And that's one of the things I was going to ask you. So let's say as a real estate agent, I was working with a senior, and I'm like, I think I can find the house, but let me talk to Thomesa and see what she has to say about this. We can do referrals and work together.
Yeah, collaborate, refer, team up, whatever it takes to meet the needs of the senior. But a lot of times, agents understand seniors and the older demographics, but yet the seniors don't understand how the realtor can help. So at one point in 2018, SAR had asked me to help lead a team to create another program for seniors. And we ended up working all of 2018. We launched it in November of 2019. It's called SAFE. It's Secure and Friendly Environments. And so there's a website that SAR has that seniors or their families can go to and request an agent to come assess their environment and just have a chat with them to see how we can help them be safer. Sometimes it involves bringing in teams of people that can help the medical assessment or get them into independent or assisted living or memory care. But the whole idea is to, hey, we've got you covered. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not trying to take your home away from you or make you move out of your home, but how can we help you be safe? And so that's one of the aspects that SAR wanted to kind of get realtors more involved in the communities. And I think now that we're out of this pandemic thing, we'll start that round robin of our ambassadors that are in the SAFE Ambassador Program to start helping more seniors get out and, to go out to the senior's home. And maybe they just need a handyman to come in and make some things safe. So we've got all kinds of recommendations to bring in people that can help them out.
Awesome. That's cool. That's great. Really? I kind of want to go back and ask a question about, you mentioned you started with financial advisors and elder care attorneys, right? For agents that are watching or listening right now, sometimes going after that type of profession is very scary for them.
Intimidating.
Yes. So how was it in the very beginning, and how did you kind of refine that to get in front of financial advisors?
I first of all just sent out like an email to financial advisors that I knew worked for people that I had known or some of my clients. They would say, oh, my financial guys help me with this, and I would just send out an email to introduce myself to their financial advisor. If they responded back and whatever, depending on what they said, I'm like, hey, let's get together and have coffee. Or I'll come to your office. I'd just like to get, face to face. You know who I am, so that if your clients, you find that your clients are in need of any of my services, they'll feel like they already know, love, and trust you. And if you're referring me, then you know me enough to trust to recommend them. So that's really how it started, just sending out an email to, and you know, I've gotten a list of people that I haven't known, but at first it was like a little bit of a warm lead, so that, your client I was talking to, and they suggested that I reach out and get to meet you. So that's kind of how that started. And then I went, elder law attorneys kind of need to know about me too. So that's where I went from that, and I'm 100% referral based agent.
I was going to say, that's what you mentioned.
Always have been, always will be, and I think that's the best. I feel like that's the best thing. I don't have to go lead gen, and as long as I follow up and just keep everybody content with what my services were needed for. And I do get a lot of families from back east or other parts of the country that hear about me through the Senior Move Management Program. And they'll call, or the financial planner will call the kids of their client and say, hey, I want you to meet this person. And so we'll talk on the phone. Sometimes they come out here, sometimes they never do. I never meet them, but I go take care of mom and dad, or mom or dad, whichever's still around. And the rewards I get from just hearing the thank yous, because they couldn't be there for their parent. And I get all teary when I think of that, because that's what I did for my folks. I had to stop and go do it, and I know there's so many people can't. They're tied to corporate jobs or what have you. Fortunately, as an entrepreneur in real estate, I could, kind of call the time frame and punch the clock when I needed to and go help my parents. But I have never lost the fact that that's a heartfelt, compassionate thing that so many people appreciate, and it just is a reward for me.
You didn't bring the Kleenex.
I know. Where is
I figured after that one guy cried, we would have brought some in. Do you remember who I'm thinking of?
Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. It was at the other studio. There's 3 or 4 guys in.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Big guy, too.
Big guy, yeah.
The other guys made fun of him because he started to.
I tear up, but
that just it shows how much you care about
so
it.
Much passion you have.
I tell you, the one thing that people eliminate the importance of is the stuff that people have, because the parents don't want to get rid of their stuff. They think they're holding on to it for their kids,
and the kids don't want it.
And the kids don't want it. So I always, when I have a consultation, we talk about their stuff, and usually they're in that large home that has all that stuff that they've never looked at, never used, never will use. But I was going to give that to my daughter, or I was going to give it to my son, and I always say, well, I don't want to be the one to inform you, but I want to make you aware that they don't want it.
Yeah.
So when you have that conversation, don't be shocked. Don't be hurt. Don't be, it's a whole different generation of people. They don't want your stuff, especially that older stuff. Now, my folks wanted me to have the dining room set. Ethan Allen, old, big, heavy. I'm like, I don't want it. But I didn't know how to say no. Yeah. So I made my son take it.
There you go.
But I tell you, the stuff is what paralyzes our older generation of people from making that move to where they can live better, freer. And I always say, people think that they're stuck in their homes, or they're going to give up their independence and freedom if they leave that big home, but yet they're actually inviting independence and freedom once they get rid of all the high maintenance, the cost factors, and just maintaining everything it takes. They're maybe isolated socially, and get out of that big place. Get into a place where you can just enjoy life.
Yeah.
And so I capture their essence. The first consultation is walking through each room and saying, what in this room can you not live without? And we have this in the Senior Move Management arena. We have blue tape, which is, okay, I go around with a ring of blue tape on my wrist, and it's like, okay, we're going to put a piece of blue tape on this item, because when we pack you and move you, that's going with you. We're not going to lose, you're not going to lose your essence. We're going to capture it all. All your story items will go with you, so you don't feel inferior or less than. You just get to go enjoy.
Have you ever run out of blue tape?
No. I keep it by the case. But there are people. That want everything. It's like, okay, well, let's hear the story on that one. And once they hear their story, or if it's a story that they really do need it, but it's not going to be adequate for the smaller space, then it's like, let's take a video. Let's tell that story and pass it on to your kids, or keep it yourself, and just so you got to express that. But when they realize that their essence can go with them, and they don't have to work as hard in that home, and they don't have to be lonely, And 2020 brought a whole new element of loneliness
Yeah.
to the surface, which makes me cry again because, you know, there are a lot of lonely people out there. Now, when before we went on quarantine, I would call all my seniors and say, look, you know, things are going on. You may not want to get out. It may not be healthy. Can I help you? Can I get some groceries for you? Can I bring you stuff? You know, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
And of course, I have this one lady who's 98 years old, and she started laughing when I called her. And I'm like, so what is so funny? And she goes, oh, honey, you're one of us. People should be bringing food to you. And I'm like, yeah, I am that. I am one of y'all, but I'm going to take care of y'all now. So it just brought me to reality. Yeah, I am one of those older folks that could get lonely. But that was, to me, a very important year of realizing loneliness is, you know, that's a killer.
Yeah.
That is a killer.
Yeah.
So,
Sad
yeah,
times.
we got to take care of our seniors
Absolutely.
in any way possible.
That's right. Yeah. I heard some Oklahomian coming out
Oh,
there.
you
y'all.
did? Oh,
Y'all.
yeah, I got the y'all. Yeah. Yeah, my dad was from New York City, but use guys just doesn't feel good.
Use
So,
guys.
use guys.
Yeah.
Use guys.
So y'all
That's
it
funny.
is.
So before we go to the next segment, is there anything else that you want the agents that are watching and listening to know about this senior space, or anything that you want to share with them before we?
Oh, I'm just going to say be very cognizant and aware of whatever age bracket your client is in, of their surroundings when you go for your listing appointment or you go for your consultation, and refer them out to someone that maybe can help them, because right now we don't, you know, not everybody's not kind of mixing around like they used to, and we just don't know what's going on in somebody's lives. And as an agent, we get the luxury of being invited in to see someone's home, and it's worth assessing, and it's always worth referring them to somewhere in the industry of somebody they might need down the road. So just go seniors, and everybody kind of keep your eyes and ears out to help them out.
So if agents that want to reach out to you directly, let's say that they find themselves in a situation where they need to help somebody, and they want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Facebook, LinkedIn. My phone number is 480-375-1974. Website's Thomesa.com.
There we go.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, you know, before we actually do jump in, I just wanted to tell the audience that it's important. I love what Thomesa's doing, or what she did. I love how you kind of picked that niche, and then you learned everything about it. You put your team together, and now I'm sure people know you as the person who helps seniors. And I think that's important for our audience to know, is pick a niche instead of doing everything. And then learn about it, put your team together, and let people know that you're that person.
Mm-hmm. It is valuable to be known as the go-to person for whatever aspect or element you focus on. Mm-hmm. And I've been putting together a TV show, which I was going to call The Best Is Yet to Come, but I've been advised that it should be I Know a Guy, because we can keep referring and helping people by other people that we know.
Yeah, that's cool. A show, huh?
A show, yeah. That's the next segment here.
You do have another book that you haven't
this was done during 2020. This is called The One Habit. It's 300 entrepreneurs, including Les Brown and some actors over in California, that put together their one habit that propels them through and makes them successful in business, plus the unhabit. So it's a habit that they've had to shed and get rid of. And so it's a lot of really, really good information. And I have a chapter in that. So that went international bestseller, which was great to know. And a lot of great successful entrepreneurs have just issued, written out, and it's usually 3 or 4 page chapter that says, here's the habit I have that made me successful, here's the one I had to get rid of. So it's just worth a read. It's on Amazon.
Cool. And you have a chapter in there.
I have a chapter.
Sweet. Awesome. That is cool. All right. Well, before we move to the next segment, I do want to give a shout out to Susan Cunningham with Security Title for getting you in here, right? She's amazing, isn't she?
Love her.
And then, of course, to our sponsors, Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty. They're awesome as well. Are you ready to get in the ring?
Ooh.
I think so.
Am I?
Yes.
Oh, I'm scared.
No. Well, I was going to ask you for a book recommendation.
Oh,
But,
let's see. I've got two.
I think we did that, huh? Didn't we? What do you think the reason is that many agents are not successful?
I think you feel rejected. I think rejection is still a huge factor in realtors that think that, I got turned down on this listing or this client didn't buy. And I just think you have to show up. I think showing up is key in any industry for any entrepreneur, anybody, whether you work for corporate or not. I think where agents probably miss the boat is they don't show up all the time.
Got it. Oh, that's great. What are you most looking forward to as things are starting to get back to normal?
Normal.
Yeah.
Maybe identifying what normal is. This is, like I said, I've been through all the anomalies, the good back in 3 and 4 and 5, and then the crash in 8, and now, then the normal stuff. I think what I'm looking forward to is the face-to-face without masks with all the clients. Now, I know the senior industry, senior demographics are a little bit different there, and they're still a little bit hesitant, and rightfully so. But I'm looking forward to where they feel free and can embrace us like we can embrace them.
Absolutely. How about, let's see.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the one habit that you do and one habit that you would shed?
The one habit I do is celebrate myself and my wins, no matter how little they are. And the unhabit I did was listening to what everybody else thought about me, whether it was a parent or a sister or sibling, what have you. What they think about me doesn't matter. And I've got to honor me, embrace me, celebrate me, and all the wins, and just let all of that other go, because their perception of me doesn't matter to me and should not matter to me. But that's a hard one to break.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
What is yours, Jeff? What's your one habit?
I'd have to think of that.
Really?
You're throwing me, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know.
Well, I guess it's not a habit then.
Do you have one, Joey?
That I have to get rid of?
And do.
Oh, I don't know yet. I'd have to think about that.
Well, I know that, and I got this from, I can't remember the guy's name, but I make my bed every morning.
Oh, like that general said.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, the military guy.
Yeah, the military guy. You just make your bed. That's one of the habits I do.
All right, I'll take that. I'm making my bed.
Okay. Well, you can't take mine.
Well, you took somebody else's.
Yeah, that was a great keynote he did for that
that
university
was really
when he
good.
gave that. Yeah, and that, talk about viral, that thing went, and I guess everybody's making the bed now.
Yeah,
That's great. I should show that to all my kids then. I don't know if they make their beds or
No,
not.
you should show that. That is a impactful video.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah.
So one more question is, since you used to travel a lot, so if you could go anywhere in the world later this year, where would you go and why?
Ooh, where would I go this time? I think I'd love to go to Thailand. Yeah, I hear all the beauty in that, and I have yet to visit that part of the world.
Yeah.
So
the part
I'd love to
where
do that.
you see all the boats with the big rocks sticking out of the water?
I
and all
don't know.
that,
I think
or
it's the beauty and
just
the green.
All right.
My dad was stationed in Thailand at one point, and he brought back a lot of things that I actually kept of his. And he just always talked about Thailand and how special it was. And I have friends that have
cool.
traveled there, and just a whole different world of what I've seen, and I think I'd like to go there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being in here.
Thank you.
It's been
Thank you.
really good information.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to impart.
And I hope agents will grab a hold of this. I hope that they reach out to you as well, when they're finding themselves, because everybody's going to find themselves, anybody that stays in real estate very long is going to find themselves in a position where they have
Older clients.
right? So
Yeah.
it's just the way that it is.
Yeah. So it's all about collaboration for all of us. I know a lot of people think agents are territorial and what have you, but we're really not. We love to collaborate and work together, and my niche is probably not where I work a lot with memory care people and Alzheimer's, because my mom died of Alzheimer's, and so there's a whole different element in how to approach and behave and work with those families.
Yeah.
So if they ever need any help or just answers some questions, I'm happy to help.
Well, thank you, Thomesa. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys.
All right, agents. Until next time, we will see you later.
Adios.
Adios. Bye. Great job. All right. Good job.